to church every Sunday. I love God.
Sanibonani.
Hello, Baba.
Ninjani?
Happy.
No, see under circumstances siyancenga. I just want to share something here. My input is just going to be very, very short. But it's going to be titled. I'm going to title it "The Unfortunate Dichotomy of and in South Africa Today." So we are basically living in a very interesting times, Sis Lebu. The more we try to contain the situation so that it doesn't become worse, I think the more we become overwhelmed, the more we create more mechanisms to make sure that we live in a country that is sustainable. The unfortunate dichotomies of South Africa today, because it's happened. We've got the education system in this country, an education system anywhere in the world has got a primary purpose. And that primary purpose is to make sure that the challenges and problems of that particular country that system exists are resolved. But it appears as though where I am seated, and I think comrades and patriots here can help me if I am not seeing things correctly. But it seems as though that in our country, the more parties we create or we involved ourselves in, it looks like the more problems come to the fore. The more graduates we create, more issues we face in our communities. More intellectuals, the more obfuscation we experience in this country. And the more civic organizations, the more instability in our communities. And the more unemployment that we have in this country, the more shopping centers or the malls are springing to the fore. So the more brave cops that we see, it looks like the more we are plunged into the crisis. The more smart devices that we are carrying, that we are using to talk now, the more dumb we become as South Africans. So it is a crisis that I see from where I am seated. I think at a political level it stems from these organizations that are sprouting everywhere in South Africa today. When there is a new organization that comes to the fore, the hope of South Africans is raised to say, "Ay ke manje sesifike esikhathini la sizothola khona inkululeko yangempela." But the more we get deeper into these political parties, the more we realize that the issues that we are having, they basically are not going to be resolved, because most of these parties are not about ourselves. So what is it that we perhaps can do as South Africans? We have mechanisms, and those mechanisms are platforms such as this, so that at 1:08 on the 5th of October 2025, we get an opportunity, at least that every member of the organization doesn't get to speak to 341 people and say, South Africans, the only issue that we are having is the issue that we take our agency and we entrust the political parties with these agencies, and it appears as though the reality that we are faced with is that these political parties are not going to get us where we need to get. So I see that Comrade Mandela was abducted, going somewhere around Gaza to go and resolve some issues here, when we have issues next door here in Swaziland that no one wants to speak about, because of how problematic and entrenched our political parties are with the system of Swaziland, of Dinkundla, that every other thing that happens in Swaziland must come from King Mswati himself. I remember when one was an activist of the Young Communist League, there was a Swaziland Solidarity Network comrade who once come to our branch to say, comrades, all what we are asking for now at this point of our frustration is people-to-people solidarity. We want to come and have direct access to you as South Africans and explain our issues in Swaziland, because it has become very clear that the organization that is in power in South Africa looks as though it is in cohabit or is cohabiting with what is happening in Swaziland. The people that are next to us are suffering, comrades, dearly, the people of Swaziland. I don't know what is the plight of comrades like Mario Masugu at this point in time, whether that system has devoured them or not, but it appears that this is not in the best interest of the people who are in power in this country. So it says to us that the platforms such as this, they are as powerful, if not more powerful, than the organizations that we seem to believe that they are going to get us somewhere. I have come to realize beyond a reasonable doubt, Sislebo, that the organizations that we purport to belong to, they are not really about us. I think they're about something else. We just need to be very, very, very honest with ourselves and get to realize that the organizations that we rally behind, whose flags and colors we wear, they really are not about our interest at heart. So the only thing and the only platform that we have is platforms such as this, where we are going to say, abducted or not, good intentions or not, we do not care that much. What we care about is the dilapidating situations in our country, the buildings that we see being abducted or being invaded in the CBD of Johannesburg. And when you ask yourself, how does it happen? How does this thing happen in a country where you're saying you've got political parties that got the people of South Africa's interest at heart? It becomes an unanswerable question. You can't answer that question. To say, how does it happen that you've got people who are selling drugs to our kids everywhere? And each and every area that we live in South Africa has got a police station, and we are living in a country that has got intelligence, but everything that is happening basically opposes that reality. It is as if we are just living out of the grace of God. So I am saying one truly appreciates a platform such as this. I'm the person who comes here and sit and listen attentively to the issues that are being canvassed here. And I think that we are on the right track. But the very unfortunate thing is that as we think aloud as African South Africans, our counterparts, the white people, I don't think they do this thinking aloud kind of a situation. But those people, I think they sit somewhere and consolidate on strategies on how to regain control and power over South Africa, so that we find ourselves even more subjugated to the way in which they want these people, they want this country to be run. I listen to you, Sislebo, you're always talking about the dangerous agenda of the globalists and what is it that they want to achieve. I think that agenda here is very much on track. We see with what is happening in the Madlanga Commission, and we're getting to realize that, you see, what we thought we know very little of what is happening in our country. And I think the ultimate results of the Madlanga Commission will be the death of many people, and as a result, the continuation of the dirty shenanigans that are happening beyond all these things. but it will come to a point where maybe in closure, we will need to have an organization of some sort that will come, not an organization as in like in a political party, because we see that the political parties, as if for it to be accepted by the system, it must pledge allegiance, like one of the comrades have said here, it must pledge allegiance to all the modus operandi of Britain and all the people who are responsible for our country. But we just need a social movement that will, from time to time, on issue-based issues, come and say, on this one, we do not agree. We are not standing to agree with this. We are opposed to this. Then I think that will be the only way we can make the little effort that we can do. But political parties that we belong to, I think it's high time that we just realize that they are not about us.
Hey, how funded yo.
Exactly that.
Exactly.
It's not about us. It is about the agenda. And you know, something about the same people that are working for the same agenda is that they speak the same thing. I told you guys even before elections, the previous elections we had, Malema was part of the agenda. ANC is part of the agenda. The DA is part of the agenda. Ramaphosa took an oath openly. This thing in Zagala in South Africa is the same thing they tried to do in America. And I want you